and welcome to Cinema Through the Seasons. We know the deal by now. We're the podcast where we talk about movies relating to the approaching seasons and their holidays. Third episode, third location. We've been in a different room for every single episode, which
This
is
is
keeping it interesting.
probably the best room yet, in my opinion.
Really?
Yes,
It's so echoey and weird.
I just like how it's spacey and everything looks professional. It looks like we have like a professional setup going on too.
Yes, I like the first room. You weren't there for that
That's
for that room, but we haven't been able to get back in there since the first episode, unfortunately. But we make do, so it's okay. So yeah, for this episode, we're doing, we've been doing a lot of slashers, a lot of gore, and a lot of murder. So I figured we're halfway through spooky season at this point. So why don't we wind down a little? We're doing Coraline and The Nightmare Before Christmas. We touch on some Tim Burton, even though Coraline isn't actually a Tim Burton movie. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I thought it was all like
No, it's not a Tim Burton movie. Well, it's made by the director of this movie, Henry Selick. He has worked with Tim Burton a couple of times, so that I think that's why it has the similar like aesthetics and stuff. But Tim Burton wasn't actually attached to Coraline.
Is it because of the stop-based animation that's happening?
Yeah, the stop motion animation and the kind of just like gothic like vibe of the movie is very Tim Burton like, but turns out it's not just Tim Burton, it's also Henry Selick, who has worked with Tim Burton, who also directed A Nightmare Before Christmas. So maybe this is less of a Tim Burton episode and more of a Henry Selick episode.
I mean, he created two masterpieces because Coraline was fantastic and Nightmare Before Christmas is just at this point it's like an annual thing where it's like during Halloween, Christmas time, you put that on, and especially because it goes for both holidays, perfect time.
Yes. Well, starting with Coraline, I love this movie. I actually saw this in the theater a couple of years ago. It was like an anniversary for it, so I saw it in the theater. And it was really, really great, obviously.
I mean, my earliest memory of like Coraline and everything, I don't know if you remember Redbox. I rented that movie on Redbox. I vividly remember that. And then I think I watched it like 5 times before I had to send it back. I just enjoyed it because I remember watching it with my sister, and we just loved the movie. We loved the whole like aspect, and then we loved the animation and everything when it came to the movie, and especially like the whole plot. Coraline's just like a simple plot, but I think like
really, I don't know if I'd consider it simple. I feel maybe, I don't know. It's because it is very dark for a kids movie. Like Wikipedia literally calls it like a dark fantasy horror movie. Like I think it's definitely on the darker spectrum of children's movies.
I mean, I just liked it in the aspect that like the whole thing with Coraline and everything, like it pretty much takes you on a story of like seeing the world at the beginning of the movie through Coraline's eyes, and it's all about me, I feel like, at the very beginning. But then towards the end of the movie, she kind of gets like a broader like explanation of like everything. So like, you know what? Maybe the world isn't just about me. Maybe like I had to look through it through other people's eyes as well.
That's an interesting takeaway. Yeah, but I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, Coraline is about a little girl named Coraline who's voiced by Dakota Fanning. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. It sounds a lot like her, obviously. Like she doesn't do any like she didn't put on a voice or anything because she was a child when she did this. So it's not like she did a different voice. But yeah, she and her parents move into a new apartment. It's called the Pink Palace. It's like this big house that's been separated into like 3 apartments. And you can tell in the beginning that her parents do not like her. Like they don't like her, or they at least don't like being her parents. Like I feel like her dad tries with her, and he has like a few moments with her where like he tries to connect and like be silly and be funny with her, but the mom does not enjoy her at all.
I mean, I can see that, and that's the thing I love about movies altogether, because 2 people can see the movie and then just see like 2 different things. But I think at the beginning it was just like the parents like, listen, we have to get this work done. I do believe the mother was a little bit negligent as far as like when she went
Yeah,
exploring.
she's definitely being emotionally neglected by her parents for pretty much the whole movie.
But I feel like for a majority it was just pretty much like she they were trying to do their work. She was bored, obviously, and then that's a normal thing as a child. Child's going to get bored and everything, going to look to do something fun. And then the father was trying to do his work and everything. So what I'm getting at is, I felt like at the very beginning, Coraline was pretty much like saying, like, "Listen, I'm bored. Pay attention to me." At the very beginning, but I do agree with the mother being negligent. But I just feel like it was just at the beginning, a child being a child.
So you think you're like more understanding of the parents in this movie? Then?
To the degree, when I was younger, I was all over like Coraline's side. I'm like, listen, it's the parents just seem like a pain. But then now that I like look at it from like a different point of view, I'm like, you know what? They're just trying to get their work done. And then at that point, I feel like they just moved. They were like financially struggling to a bit, because when they were making dinner, I don't know if you remember, like the father made like this goop and everything.
It looked really nasty.
It looked terrible.
I thought it was just because they just moved, and like, you know, when you just move somewhere and you don't like have food for a little bit.
I mean, I don't even know what the goop was. That's the
It
thing.
was just like vague looking vegetables or like just different colors on a plate. It was really gross looking.
Yeah, I like, and then from that aspect, it was like, listen, they're trying to make the best out of the situation that they have going on, but Coraline's like, listen, I don't want to eat this. I'd rather starve, which she ended up doing. She went up, she went to her room and went to bed, which is the funniest thing in my opinion. She's like, I'm not eating this goop.
Which is fair enough because, like I said, like it barely looked like food. Anyway, yeah, you can tell in the beginning like Coraline has kind of a disconnect with her parents. So then when she finds a door in her house that leads to like an alternate dimension with alternate parents who have buttons in their eyes in this other world, it's the same people that are in her everyday life, except they all have buttons in their eyes, which I feel like didn't freak her out enough. I feel like she wasn't freaked out by anything enough in this first half. Like when YB, the other kid who lives in the area and his grandma owns the house, but he's not allowed in the house. Like, and she doesn't. The grandmother said she doesn't rent to families with kids. Like this is the first time in a couple years that she let a kid live in this apartment, and she doesn't let her grandson into the house. That's strange. And then also, yeah, when he gives her a doll that looks exactly like her and is wearing the same outfit as her, and she's barely fazed by this.
I mean, that was crazy when you saw the identical doll, and then I'm like, do you not see like the red alarm going off?
Like, you know, she was like, oh, okay, and she takes it into her house and she just carries it around. Like, you're not alarmed at all that this boy who you just met, his grandmother who you've never met, has a doll that looks exactly like you.
And the crazy part too is just the fact that it was created, and then they showed the intro, the credits, and everything of when it was made. And then this gets me thinking: was everything just like predetermined? Like they were supposed to go to this house at a certain amount of time, or I was a little confused there.
I think the Beldam, the other mother, who we find out is whenever a kid moves into this house, she like eats them essentially. And that's why the grandmother doesn't let kids be in the house, is because her sister was a victim of the other mother and her sister was taken by her. I think I don't know if she like could sense that there was going to be another kid moving in, or she like sees the future, or maybe it's just like when they just got there, she made this doll that looks like Coraline and she planted it to where she would find it or where it would be given to her. But I mean, we obviously find out later that it's like essentially like a spy that the other mother uses to like kind of entice kids to come to her, which like, yeah, the doll moves on its own. Like Caroline will put it somewhere and then she'll look back and it's somewhere else. It's not where she left it, which also does not bother her.
I mean, at that point, I think is what her father had her initially doing, just count the windows and stuff. At this
Mhm.
point, she was just like, you know what, anything's better than counting these windows.
Yeah, probably that. She was just so like bored out of her mind in this new house with parents who don't want to talk to her that she just was not really questioning anything, which is also why she kind of accepts this other world with these other parents that are attentive towards her and who like make her the food that she wants and like give her like gifts and things. It's because she's missing that from her real life and her real parents. It's very deep, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy, but it's just funny how like yeah, as soon as she goes to the other world, she's like, you know what? They gave me smoothies. They gave me a
Yeah,
nice.
whatever a mango
Yeah,
milkshake is. What is that?
I don't know, but the what's it called? The chandelier. It had options. She got like every flavor, and I guess that was the thing that convinced her. You know what? Maybe this isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. But yeah, like, and there's like the jumping mice circus and the women who live underneath her who like put on like a chauffeur. Like everyone in this world is catering specifically to her. Like you said, like she's the center of this universe pretty much, which is just all in an effort to convince her to let the other mother sew buttons into her eyes so that she can so that she's for her soul, I guess, is like forced to stay there, and the other mother like eats her. I don't really know how that
I
works.
don't. I was just as confused. I didn't know if like taking the eye out was essentially like taking their soul.
I think so. Like they sew the eyes. If they let her sew the eyes in, it's like them, like it's like them accepting being a part of this like forever, because that's what she tells Coraline, is that if she wants to stay there she's gonna need to sew the buttons in her eyes. So then I guess she eats them and then their souls are trapped there basically,
You know, it's a crazy thing.
or maybe she eats their eyeballs.
That's what I was thinking too. But the crazy part that I was thinking about was because later on you find out that there's three other more kids and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That these kids just like eat the buffet and they're like, you know what? Sure, just take my eyes.
Yeah,
But
I guess it's another thing. I
yeah,
guess with all of the build up to what happens, it also did not freak them out enough. So then, and they, I guess, were more easily convinced than Coraline, to
it,
where they were able to be convinced to give her their eyes because they
I've
obviously
been
didn't
yeah.
know what they were getting into.
Because at that point the other mom was 3 for 3 at that point. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, and then she was trying her hardest to convince Coraline when she wakes up and then she's back in her world, and then the look of disappointment when she goes back to her regular life. She's like, dang, I really had everything, and then overnight it's just gone.
Yeah, like it definitely starts to work. Like she's definitely being convinced. And she's obviously way happier in this other world than she is in her real life. But I guess the eyes were just too much for her. It's the buttons in the eyes she just couldn't handle, and that's what freaked her out.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, yeah, let me sleep on this real quick, and then she
Mm-hmm.
wakes up, she's back to her world, and then
No, she doesn't go back. When the other mother and the other father try to get her to sew the eyes in, and she tries to go back to her world by going to sleep, because usually when she goes to bed in the other world and she wakes up in her real house, this time it doesn't work.
I mean, but the initial two stones, but then we get to that part, and then it's just like the cat was pretty much leading away, warning her. And listen, if there was a talking cat telling me not to go back into that place, the first thing I'm doing is not trying to go back.
That's what I said in my letterbox review when I logged this in my letterbox. Like, I would love to have a cat that was voiced by Keith. Oh, what's his name? Keith David, and who tries to save my life. That sounds great. I would love to have any animal voiced by Keith David. He's great.
And the crazy thing is, he tried to save poor Coraline's life, and then what does Coraline do to repay him? Talking
He
about the other mom.
throws him full force at the end when the other mother tries to attack her to, I guess, eat her. She has to throw the cat at her, and the cat claws out her button eyes, which is crazy. The ending of this movie is so crazy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you said like if you someone that's never watched a movie before just explains like the whole process of how the movie is from the very beginning to the very end, like yeah, the mother just turns into a spider and she becomes a
Like
spider
a
later.
spider, a giant spider made of like sewing needles, and the house becomes a giant spider web, and then Coraline has to escape, and like it's a whole thing, and that's not even actually the end. Like the mother's hand gets like detached from her body, and she goes into the other world, and it attacks Coraline by itself, like it's a disembodied hand, but it's still like moving around like thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was crazy. I mean, at that point, she was like scot free. She's like, "Listen, I'm back in my
Yeah,
life.
she thinks she's good, and then a hand attacks her.
That it's crazy." And then, the fact is, that there's no one else really around besides Weibly, her friend that like saves her, obviously. But
Mhm.
it's just the fact that none of the neighbors, none of the mom, no one was around to witness like a walking like skeleton hand just trying to drag their daughter back into this cubby.
Yeah, none of the adults in this movie are helpful to her at all, except for maybe Mr. Bobinsky, but it's not even him, it's his mice, because somehow his mice also know what's going. I guess the animals in this movie are somehow like, I don't know, they have this sort of like third eye or whatever, like between the cat and the mice.
It
Like they're the only things that try to help her at all, other than YB at the very end. But at first, he doesn't believe her either.
I mean, it's kind of hard to believe. Like, if you just hear your daughter or just like a random person,
She
like
does sound insane when she
it,
talks about it.
it got to the point where like the mother, the real mother, tried to seal like the doorway because she's like, "Listen, my daughter, ever since we opened this, has just been talking about this magical world. I got to seal this up." And then she ended up sealing it up until
Yeah,
Coraline
she
says
unlocks it anyway.
she unlocked it anyway. That was hysterical. But the whole movie in itself was like, like the way I said it at the beginning, it was like pretty much her like seeing the world from like a different point of view
Mhm.
because it was like at the beginning it was just me, but then at the end she's like, you know what, maybe like this Bobinsky guy that lives upstairs isn't that crazy, and she starts like making friends. She's like, you know what, maybe they're not that bad, and then she looks at from her mom and dad's point of view and everything, and then I feel like at the end she starts to get more empathetic and look at like, you know what, maybe the world's not just about me.
I would take it as more of like her, because of this experience, starts to embrace the real world more, and like instead of, obviously she knows that she can't lean into the other world because it was not what it seemed at all. So then she decides like she might as well like make do with what she really has. And also I think at the end her parents also subconsciously kind of begin to try to connect with her more. um Obviously, they don't remember because at some point in the movie, the other mother also kidnaps them, and she puts them in a snow globe. But then at the end, when they come back, they don't have any memory that happened. So I don't think they're doing it. Like obviously, it's not because they remember what happened and they remembered that all three of them could have died. But I
Mm-hmm.
think just subconsciously, kind of appreciating their daughter more, and then Coraline also starting to appreciate them and her friends and everyone more.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that the only reason I say is because at the end,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the parents start appreciating Coraline more. But maybe that was the parents from like the very beginning. It was just like at first they're just still trying to get over this new move because
Mm-hmm.
they said they were from Michigan, and then they're just in the middle of nowhere at that point. The house is really nice. That house
It
is
is
really.
a nice house, and the apartment that they live in seems to be like 2 stories, and then there's, I guess, an attic apartment and then a basement apartment where the other neighbors live. Which one of the women who lives below her is voiced by Jennifer Saunders, who also voices the fairy godmother in Shrek 2, which I also just watched. Have you seen Shrek 2?
I love Shrek too.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, it's the same woman who voices the fairy godmother, which is funny because in both movies there's a musical number, and obviously in Shrek 2 it's like it's really good, and then in this movie when she sings it's intentionally bad.
That is funny. I mean, I didn't even notice till you brought it up, and then it just got me
There
thinking
are
of Shrek
some
2.
points where it absolutely sounds the same as she does in Shrek 2. Like you can definitely tell. But like I said, I had just watched them back to back, so it was more obvious to me
Hmm.
when I was watching it.
Yeah, I mean, she did a great job too. Like the whole storyline behind that, and it's funny that you were talking about maybe like the animals are just like kind of like foretelling of the future and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just funny how the fortune tellers weren't telling the future, but like the animals were actually like, you know what, the mice were actually telling her. Because at first, Coraline goes to get help from them the first time, and when it's like, let me ask you about the future,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, oh, you're in grave danger, and she's like, no, that's just a giraffe. The other
Yeah,
lady.
I think they were obviously one of them was telling her the truth, but just inadvertently. Like neither of them really knew what they were doing, but one of them told her what was really going on or told her that there was danger. Like on like somehow she was able to tell her what was real, but not on purpose. And then also later, when she gives her the little thing that helps her find the eyes, that
Mhm.
also, she obviously had no idea what it really was or like what it would have been for, but it ended up being helpful anyway.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty much the MVP of the whole end of the movie. It led them right into like the eyes and everything, and then at that point, I just think about it. I'm like, if she never went down there, would she have just not known where to find everything?
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good thing that she went to them for help, even though I'm not sure what she was really expecting from them. Like I said in the beginning of the movie, they weren't super helpful anyway. And then at this point in the movie, she goes to them because this is after her parents are kidnapped and she obviously like has no idea what to do. So she goes to them for whatever reason and they give her this thing that ends up helping her, but in the moment she has no idea what it's for. Like she doesn't figure out what it's for until like right when she needs it. So,
I mean, you know, it would be so helpful if
mhm.
she went to Wively's like grandmother from like when about like the whole parent situation, because obviously the grandmother has like already an idea of what happens in that house, or at least can the grandmother just like heads up there was this magic doorway, don't go through it.
I don't know. They never because the grandmother isn't really a huge part of the movie.
Hmm.
Like we don't even see her
At
until
the
the
end.
very end. So I don't really know if like YB says that the grandmother thinks that her sister was kidnapped and that
Okay.
it happened in the house, but I guess she has no idea. Obviously, no one had any idea what really happened because the sister just like disappeared one day without a trace,
Yeah, I mean that the whole situation is crazy,
which is really sad,
and
actually.
it is very sad. I mean,
Which
I'm happy at the end, like the kids finally found like got peace and everything. They were saved by
Yeah, like
Coraline.
Coraline is able to tell her what happened, but just in the sense that like her grandmother, the grandmother lost her sister, and then obviously after that, she is able, I guess, to sense that it had something to do with the house, which is why she doesn't let anyone with kids live in the house and she doesn't let her grandson in because it seems like her and the grandson are like it's just the two of them. And it's also why like throughout the movie she doesn't really like for YB to be out of her sight. Like whenever he gets away from her,
Hmm.
she's always like trying to call him back, I guess because she just doesn't want something bad to happen to him.
I mean, I can't blame her. I mean,
Yeah.
after that experience as a kid, and then I guess at the end, Coraline just explained like the whole story of everything that happened to her while she was at the house. But it altogether, it at the end, it's probably going to be like the most insane story. It's like, listen, this is what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, they how do you I guess the grandmother wouldn't have any reason to not believe her, but like how do you like say
Yeah,
that?
it's like I found your missing sister. She just happened to be trapped in a different world with this
Yeah, like
other
I
mother.
freed her soul, so she's good now.
I mean, I guess that's as much as I mean, I guess it worked out at the end. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like a happy story altogether at the end. And then the cat just decided to go to the other world, I guess, at the
Yeah, I
end.
guess the other world is still there, but it's just not the other mother that's in charge of it, I
I
guess.
mean,
I don't
wouldn't
know.
the other mother realize, like, listen, it's the cat that followed my plans? Shouldn't like
Well, I think she dies because she literally says when Coraline is like escaping, she's like, "Don't leave me, like I'll die without you." So she'll probably like she it probably had been like a long time since she had like eaten someone, since the grandmother wasn't letting anyone with kids live there. So like this probably was like her last hope, like this first kid
Like
in
her last hurrah.
years. Yeah, like the first kid to come here in years, and she got away. Like I think it's implied that she like dies.
If she was really that hungry, Coraline should have just brought the gelatin the dad made from like the other world.
I don't think even she would settle for that. I don't think that
I
would
guess
sustain
not.
her. But yeah, the movie's based off of a novella by Neil Gaiman. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've never read it. I've wanted to. I think it's like way scarier than the movie. Because like they obviously had to adapt it for children, so or at least somewhat for children. So like they couldn't include all of the horror aspects, and then they also had to expand it because it's not a full novel, it's like a short novel. So
I mean, they really aced it with the horror aspect, because even as a kid, talking back to like the original time I watched it over and over again, this was scary as a kid. Like I
yeah, like I
remember,
said, especially that ending I think would definitely be terrifying to an actual child. I think just the fact that it's animated, which is it's what classifies it as a kids movie, I guess. um Stop motion animated, to be more specific.
I mean, it was really well done. I mean, that's probably why it has like a cult following behind, because everyone that's like a diehard Coraline fan just tells you how fantastic the movie is.
Yeah, it's the third highest grossing stop motion animated film of all time.
I mean, the movie just shows you why it's just that good. And especially because I remember scrolling through Nickelodeon when the movie first came out in theaters, you would see the commercial, every other commercial. It was like the Fairy Odd Parents, Coraline trailer, back to the show. And it was just over and over again all day.
Yeah. But movies like this seem like a lot to have to make. I think like 500 people worked on this.
I
And
believe
obviously,
it.
because it's not just regular animation, it's specifically stop motion, which like I guess you need to make like puppets of the characters, and then it's also like physical like versions of the set. Like it's not like on a computer or anything.
I did see, like, I was watching YouTube of how like the stop motion was made, and I just saw like them like make every, like, if she was walking, it took like 500 shots of her just like walking, and they had to move like the puppet as slow as possible, just
Yeah.
imitate that. And like you can see, and then they said the movie took 4 years to make, and it just shows you like, wow, this movie was really, that it really took that long, because at
Yeah.
first glance you're like, oh, maybe it just took a year or so. No, this was like
No.
done picture by picture,
Yeah.
and I thought that was fantastic. I
Yeah, the
really like.
animation's really good. Voice acting is really good. Dakota Fanning. Definitely not Dakota Johnson. Dakota Fanning does a really good job. I think there was like an interview with her when she was doing this, and she was saying how it's obviously so much different than doing like stage acting, because you have to do it with just your voice. So I think her being able to do that as a kid, and the kid who voices YB too, I think they both did a really good job. And like I said, I love Keith David, and he's really great. And Terry Hatcher, who's the other mother, I think she had a really good voice for this.
Oh, fantastic! She played it to a T. Like it really made me scared as a kid of like the other mother.
Yeah, like she does that really good, like kind of, because she I guess she had to personify the real mom and then the other mother and then the beldam. So then her like having to do essentially 3 versions of the same voice. She did a really good job.
100%. I hope she got paid the highest for doing such a great role. She's doing 3 roles. You might as well pay her the highest.
Yes. Well, like I said, next we're doing The Nightmare Before Christmas, which was also directed by the same guy, Henry Selick, this was apparently his directorial debut, which is crazy. This is your first movie that you're directing?
I know, it's crazy, and it's because going back at it, this movie's like an all-time classic. Halloween time, Christmas time, right in between, you'll watch it like maybe, I want to say by the end of the year, maybe like 5 times.
I personally regard it as a Halloween movie. I feel like there's obviously that debate, is it a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie? I regard it as a Halloween movie.
I think I'm 50-50.
Hmm.
To be honest, I kind of lean it more towards Christmas because there's so
Really?
many Christmas themes. I know you got the Halloween thing,
I
but
think like the overall vibe and aesthetic, and it's a Halloween movie. It has Christmas elements, obviously.
because the only reason I bring it up is because when I think of a movie, obviously I think of Jack, and then I think of Santa. That's the first two
Hmm.
people I think of. That's why I kind of attribute it more towards Christmas.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it for in October and December, but I mainly regard it as a Halloween movie.
But going back at it, you're saying his first like debut as like a director and everything.
Hmm.
It's a shorter movie, but you can really tell how long and how a precise of a time it took to like make every scene one by one. Like the movie itself was really great, and especially
Yeah,
for
because
its time.
it's another stop motion animated movie, and this one actually is a Tim Burton movie. I think it's mostly just because his name is on it, but
Hmm.
he didn't direct it. Like I said, Henry Selick directed. He didn't direct it, but he came up with the characters, and a lot of the script is his. So it's his like brainchild, which is why they put his name on it. But apparently, for the actual like making of the movie, like he was barely there because he was working on Batman Returns, which is not worth it. To do Batman Returns over the Nightmare Before Christmas, like it's not worth it.
I mean, at that point, Batman was printing out money because then you had the Batman with Michael Keaton. Then you had to think about like they had Arnold on there as like, and then they even had Jim Carrey, which to me is just crazy.
That's Val Kilmer's Batman.
Oh
Batman,
my bad. I,
yeah.
I was got.
Batman Returns is the Penguin and Catwoman.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Um, but yeah, so it's Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. They put his name on it to obviously like sell tickets and stuff, but he wasn't there for like the day to day. That was mostly obviously Henry Selick. Um, but it is still, I think, considered a Tim Burton movie, obviously. Um, but yeah, so it's also stop motion animated, like I said, because with Coraline, it's also kind of mistaken for a Tim Burton movie because it's very similar aesthetics to like this and like The Corpse Bride and like all of those other movies. But this one is also, along with Psycho, last week you said how Psycho is part of the library of oh my God, what's it called? Sorry, hold please. The National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. This movie is also one of those, which is fair, very fair.
I mean, like you said, it was just it pretty much was one of the first of its time. I know, but like as far as like the whole element with Tim Burton and everything, really brought it. Like the fact that it's still talked highly about today just shows you how culturally impactful it was when it first came out.
Yeah, but apparently Disney didn't even want to make it at first. It is technically part of Walt Disney Studios now, but when it was first released, it was done under like a different production company under Disney, but they didn't want to directly make it a Disney movie because it is that like darker aesthetic that
Hmm.
they thought would like scare the children of their audience.
I don't blame them. Like
Yeah, I think it was a risk. I think they saw this as a risk to release.
yeah, I mean, I could see that because it's a scary movie. Or so at that point, you're going to end up losing money.
Mhm.
Ironically enough, this is a little funny because my introduction to like the whole world of Jack Skeleton and everything
Mhm.
was through a game called Kingdom's Heart. I just remember playing that as a kid, and then he was one of the main characters at one point, and that got me watching the movie. And then I could see why at first it would scare a kid at first because like the Oogie Boogie Man, that man was scary as a
I
kid.
thought it would be scarier. It's just like a sack full of bugs. Like I thought it'd be scarier.
I mean, yeah, but it's just when his like his sewing becomes like undone, and then you see like the bugs for the
Yeah, it's
first
more
time.
gross
You're
than
like, what?
scary, I feel like.
Yeah, fair, fair. I could see.
um, what else? Yeah, so obviously this movie is about Jack Skellington, who is the king of Halloween Town. And like each holiday has its own town. What is it? There's Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. They all have their own towns. We only see Halloween Town and Christmas Town or Christmas Land or whatever it's called. But he's called the Pumpkin King, but I've never understood why, because he's not a pumpkin. He's a skeleton. He's a skeleton. Oh my God. His name is Jack Skellington.
Yes.
He's a skeleton, but he's called the Pumpkin King. Why isn't he the Skeleton King?
I mean, I'm just as confused as you. I guess because it's based off like Halloween and pumpkins and everything. That's my only explanation. But I agree with you. It should have been like the Skeleton King. That would make a lot more sense.
Like when he first shows up in the movie, he's wearing like a costume where he has like a pumpkin head. So like make it that then.
I mean, yeah, I agree. But I do gotta say, like the musical aspect of this movie was phenomenal.
It's so good. The soundtrack of this movie is so amazing. I would say my favorite song, What's This? Or I see I have three. It's What's This, Kidnap the Sandy Claus, and Something's Up with Jack. What's This and Kidnap the Sandy Claus, I think, are competing for top spot for me.
I mean, ironically enough, when you said we were going to do like a show about this movie, the first thing I thought of is the what's this?
Yeah.
When he's going door by when he's looking through the door and looking at the Christmas land and everything. But a very underrated one was when Oogie Boogie was singing his song. His number was like a 10 out of 10.
It's pretty good. It's very jazzy. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Yeah, but Jack is, like I said, he's king of Halloween Town, but after he's like bored with Halloween, I guess, because it's the same thing every year. So then he discovers Christmas Town and he decides that he wants to do Christmas instead. So he basically steals Christmas from Santa and he has Santa kidnapped and he tries to do Christmas, but it doesn't work because people in Halloween Town are used to Halloween and they're used to scaring people. So all of the Christmas presents they give to kids are all like things that try to eat them, essentially. So it doesn't work out. So then at the end of the movie, he's like, actually, I do love Halloween. So he decides to go back to doing Halloween and Santa has to swoop in and save Christmas.
That's funny because he did such a poor job as far as like Christmas.
So he did so bad.
That he's like, you know what? Maybe this Christmas thing isn't set up for me. That's what it was. I should go back to Halloween.
Maybe I'm the king of Halloween for a reason. But yeah, when he like first discovers Christmas, he tries to use the scientific method to understand Christmas. Like that should have been your first like clue that it's just not for you. The fact that you cannot mentally conceptualize Christmas.
I know. I mean, I at that point it was like hilarious, and the fact that he went up to Santa, he's like, Santa, I'm gonna give you the year off. You don't have to worry about Christmas anymore, and just takes over. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, like the fact that it was so hard for him to understand Christmas, but he still somehow thought he could improve upon it, even though you still don't know what it is. Quite the hubris with Jack. And then Sally, his love interest, who's voiced by Catherine O'Hara, who is, I feel like Tim Burton has like a group of actors that he just like swaps out, like Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Catherine O'Hara. Like he just uses them because Catherine O'Hara did Beetlejuice right before she did this.
You know, it's a funny thing.
And Winona Ryder.
The funny thing is, I never seen Beetlejuice before.
Really?
I just keep hearing how fantastic it is.
It's not my favorite.
It really,
no.
See, I really wanted to watch it because I had high hopes. And ironically enough, one day I rented the movie out and I just never watched it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I obviously really like Catherine O'Hara and Winona Ryder and Gina Davis, but yeah, it's just not my favorite. Oh, and Michael Keaton was Beetlejuice and he was Batman, which is also a Tim Burton movie. See, hey, sometimes you find people that you like to work with and you stick with those people.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but Catherine O'Hara, who plays Sally, who is in love with Jack, she like sees a vision that his Christmas is going to fail and she tries to warn him and he's like, no, it'll be fine. Like he doesn't listen to her at all. And she's like, this is not gonna end well. It's gonna be a mess. And he's like, no, it's gonna be great. And everyone in Halloween Town is also convinced that it's gonna be great because they follow Jack no matter what. Like he's very beloved within this town. And yeah, they try it and they fail. And Sally's like, well, I told you.
Well, you can't really blame him. He's probably like, listen, I have already everything planned out. Mate, you're just a hater at that point.
He really did. He just thought that she was a hater. And no, she tried. She tried her best. Um, um yeah, they never show like in the obviously when he finds like Christmas and all of the other doors, they never show what the Halloween door looks like. And also, do all the other holidays have access to each holiday? Like, why is that a thing?
I think so. Only because wasn't there like some sort of doorway in the Christmas town or
That's true. I mean, a door does go both ways, I suppose. So yeah, I guess that's true. And I guess either Jack has just never has been the one who's found it, or all the other, I guess, like people who run the other holidays just stay in their own lane.
And my thing is, what qualifies you to get a door? So is there just going to be like a random Groundhog's Day door, or is it just?
Oh yeah, that's true. Like, at what point is a holiday important enough to get a door? Like, is Valentine's Day really on the same, and St. Patrick's Day? Like, are those really on the same level as like Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas?
I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting. And if there's a new holiday that gets introduced, does it just magically appear on a tree?
Yeah, or like, yeah, I guess all the other like minor, like, I guess there's no like President's Day door because why would there be? um, yeah, but they never, I guess, yeah. And then another thing is at some point in Jack's first song, he mentions how he's dead and like that's why he's a skeleton and that's why he can like take his head off. So it's like, is Halloween Town just like a version of the afterlife? Like, is everyone else here also dead? How does that work?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's an interesting point. I really never thought about that. Do they just like are they just there, or were they like put there by?
Yeah, like do you like die and then you can at some point get like a role in Halloween Town? Because I think other characters, or at least at some point, they also mentioned that other people in this town are also dead. I think they do have like zombies and stuff.
I mean, yeah,
and vampires. They clearly have vampires.
But then how would they get like when they leave Halloween Town? Are they leaving the place like of the afterlife and going into like the real world?
Well, do they leave?
That's
what people ever leave.
Sure.
Like Jack is like the first one who leaves, or no, because I guess they have to, and that's how do they do Halloween? Like, what does that mean? Like, I understand what Santa obviously has to do for Christmas, and then like the Easter Bunny, I guess, hides eggs for Easter and everything. What do they do for Halloween? Do they just go around scaring people and like that's Halloween?
It seems like it, but it kind of just seems like a big parade. Like a big parade day, kind of.
Maybe
because what's it called? At the beginning, everyone's just getting ready for Halloween, but it's like everyone attributes it to trick or treating. Is it just a big trick or treating event, or is it like
yeah?
They
say that too, like Lock, Shock, and Barrel. With the three kids who work for Oogie Boogie, Jack calls them like trick or treaters. So is that another part, like the kids in Halloween? Because there are like children in Halloween Town too. So do they like trick or treat and then other people have like jobs that they have to do to go around scaring people?
I mean, I don't know. And secondly, like what type of candy do they get? Do they get like regular?
Do they bring the candy back to Halloween Town?
I guess there's just like a Walmart in the corner of Halloween Town. I mean, that could be a thing where everything's like on sale, especially during Halloween. But I mean, like there's a lot of question marks when it comes to the movie.
Yeah, it's like very unclear. Like I said, for things surrounding Christmas, they seem more like straightforward because it's like, yeah, Santa, we have the elves who like put together the toys and everything, and then Santa has to go give them out, and like that's Christmas. But like, how do they like prepare for Halloween? And then like, what do
I,
they
I
do?
listen. I was just as confused, and then going back I'm just trying to envision like where they get all these supplies from. Is there just
That
like
too.
is it
Is there
like
like a wholesale market
it feels
that's
like
in there
it,
somewhere?
is there just like a random like all scary stuff and just one Target right there on the corner, and with like the cashier just being an actual human and
I
not
don't
like an
know.
like a monster at that point, like Alex from Target just selling candy for Halloween.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's never explained, obviously. But yeah, also for Jack had different voice actors for the talking and the singing.
Hmm.
The guy who did the score for the whole movie did Jack's singing voice.
I mean, the singing parts were just phenomenal.
He was
Like,
really, I don't even know why they needed two different people. I mean, Jack barely talks. Like he doesn't really have that much spoken dialogue. He's mostly singing.
I mean, I mean, yeah, you're 100% right. I didn't even think about
Danny
that, but
Elfman.
he really killed this part. Like
He's
every
really
time
good.
he opened his mouth during the movie just to sing,
Hmm.
like it really brought the movie to life because like you said, it is technically to a degree like a Disney movie, even though like they took that risk with it. But it really shows like the elements where it's like you see the Tim Burton elements with like the whole like how like all the characters and everything, but then you see the Disney elements with like the whole musical parts.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you said the score is really amazing. Danny Elfman, who, like I said, did the score and also sung for Jack, has done a lot of Tim Burton movies and just a lot of really popular movies in general. Like he has a very impressive resume.
I mean, I to be honest, like after rewatching this movie, it kind of makes me think like when are they gonna drop like the night before Christmas too? I would love a
I
sequel of this.
actually Henry Selick and Tim Burton have both like spoken on that, and I don't think either of them are gonna do it, which I think is fair. I don't think every movie needs a sequel. I don't think, and I also don't think it would like make sense for this. I don't know. I just and with I feel like that's all Disney's doing now. It's just sequels and remakes and live action remakes, and like I don't think we need a sequel to this.
I guess. I mean, some of them are hits. Like I did really enjoy like the remake of Lilo and Stitch. I thought that was really
Really?
well.
I haven't seen it. I did not want to pay to see that. I'm sorry.
I saw it on. I saw it when it came out on Disney Plus. I didn't.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't seen that. And like I like some of the earlier Disney live action. Like I think Cinderella and Maleficent were the best ones.
Mhm.
Um yeah, and but they're just it's kind of like getting to be like all we get these days is like sequels and remakes and like this movie is really good and it like I don't think it needs that. Like I think it stands on its own.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just that yeah, I think about like the musical part. I think about the whole movie in itself. I'm like, listen, if with today's technology, because the movie's a shorter movie, that's the thing.
Mhm.
It's like an hour 20. I'm
Mhm.
like, I would love to see like a 2 hour movie of this. And then I think it would really work. And I think people would be excited to watch something like that. But I mean, at the same time, I would be scared if they mess it up. If they mess it up, it would ruin the movie for me.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's easy to mess up things like that. Like when like Lilo and Stitch and like Snow White were coming out, literally all anyone was talking about was the things that they messed up. And like I don't think it, especially with a movie like this, who is like so beloved, I think it would cause quite the uproar if they tried to do a sequel or something like that.
Right. You're 100% right. I don't know. Did you see Happy Gilmore 2 by any chance? I know
I've never seen Happy Gilmore 1.
the only reason I bring it up because we're talking about the sequels and everything.
Mhm.
Happy Gilmore 1 is phenomenal and it
Mhm.
lives the test of time. It's
Mhm.
just the second one that it completely ruins like the first movie. And
Mm.
that just got me thinking about
Yeah,
this.
that'll happen.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, um, did you have anything else?
As far as like the movie wise, I mean, I would like Tim Burton to release something sooner because I really enjoy his work. I think
He's
it's
really
really great.
good.
He's really good. And even like you were talking back, The Corpse Bride, is it a Tim Burton movie as well?
Yes.
I mean, Corpse Bride
Yeah,
is very
that was my next thing. Like, what other Tim Burton movies do you?
Tim Burton, like that movie with the Corpse Bride and everything. It's a
Mhm.
very underrated movie. No
It
one really
is.
talks about it, but there is some great like scenes. The whole story was fantastic, and then obviously the song when he gets introduced to the Corpse Bride, like it's really catchy. And around Halloween time, it's something I always have during like the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's funny for the station. I wanted to have like Halloween music play at the top of every hour, and one of the songs I came up with was "Remains of the Day,"
Mhm.
which is the song which that explains how. What is her name?
I forget.
It's not Victoria. Victoria is the other woman. What is her name?
I couldn't tell you. I still think of her as like Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, but it's the story of how she died. And yeah, that's a really, really good song.
who denied this? Was it Nick that denied the request?
No, he didn't. It's this thing with whatever program we use to put new songs in where we
Mhm.
don't have access to at the moment. No, he agreed to it, like that he wanted to do it, but for some reason right now we're not able to put new songs in, which is sad because that's like one of the reasons why I wanted to be a director is so I can put songs
Songs in
in.
it.
And I literally asked Nick and he's like, "Oh, we can't right now." So, yeah. But once that gets back up, I'm going to be putting my Halloween songs in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just going to be funny that when it finally gets approved, it's going to be probably like Christmas time, and I'm like, well,
Literally, which I can do the same for Christmas, but I feel more strongly about Halloween.
I don't blame you. Halloween's the funnest time of the year. You kind of feel like even as you grow up, you just kind of feel like a child, especially when you're like dress up for Halloween and everything for a Halloween party. You're
Mhm.
like, what should I dress up? Should I go something scary or should I go something like?
I still have no idea what I'm going to be, what my costume is going to be.
What have you? What are your options?
I don't know. I don't have any like set options. We're getting a very far off topic, but I don't have any like just to finish this thought. I don't
Yeah.
have any set options right now. Like I have ideas. I have a Pinterest board. Like I have no idea what I'm gonna do.
I mean,
We're getting down to the wire here.
yep.
Oh, another one of my favorite Tim Burton movies is Edward Scissorhands.
I mean, Edward Scissorhands. See, I seen clips of that movie.
You've never seen it?
I never sat down
Oh
and
my
watched.
God.
But
That's so upsetting to me. You don't
listen, it's
understand.
I put it on the watch list because I made like a Halloween watch list, and then
Yes.
and then
Well, technically, that one takes place around Christmas, but still, it's Tim Burton, so it's automatically Halloween. But that's another one you can watch around Halloween and Christmas.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like you said, like I seen clips of that movie. I'll probably maybe not tonight, but by the end of the week, it will be watched, and I will give a score, and especially to my letterbox. It's going to get a
You have
nice
a
review.
letterbox?
I do have a
Then
letterbox.
we have to follow each other.
I mean, I love the aspect of letterbox. 100 because and then funny enough that you said follow. I think I got one follower, and I'd be writing these long reviews, and it's just
I have
all right.
like 3 or 4.
I mean, it's fun. It gives me a
Yeah, that's not the point. I love I love Edward Scissorhands. So you should watch it. We said The Corpse Bride. It's not a Halloween movie, but I do actually like Tim Burton's the first Batman. Like I said, I'm not completely fond of Batman Returns, but the first Batman's good. Oh, Sweeney Todd. That is on theme. Have you ever seen Sweeney Todd?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. You're
I
like
know
really making me sad right now.
I'm lacking when it comes to these movies and everything, but I have heard a lot of these movies, and I hear great reviews about this.
Yes. Okay. So, Edward Scissorhands and Sweeney Todd. Those are next on your list.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Thank you.
Next up.
Yeah. But any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Tim Burton, thank you for making some masterpieces. you really made movie and watching cinema fantastic. So thank you to that.
Yeah, even though, like I said, with movies like Coraline, it's not actually a Tim Burton movie, but you can absolutely see his like influence, or at least with Henry Selick. I don't want to not give him his flowers because he also had a big part in this. I think they both have made very big contributions to these types of movies.
My question is, when something like this is going to release again, like because Coraline's a little bit of an older movie, so is A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I feel like because this is back when animated movies were actually like trying to like be interesting and like taking risks and stuff, and that's not really happening these days.
It's sad to say.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all we've got.
Yep. I mean, another fantastic episode here.
Yes, thanks to us. Thanks to me for thinking of these movies. But yeah, that has been Cinema Through the Seasons. Thank you for watching.
You have a